All right. Good morning, boys and girls of Berclair Elementary. It's Mr. Jones again. Today we're going to be multiplying with decimals. All right. We're actually going to be doing a little bit more than that, but you'll see as we go along. All right. So your I can statement is I can use my understanding of how to multiply decimals and apply it to real world situations. All right. Your essential question is why does aligning my decimals matter when multiplying decimals? How do you know where to place your decimal after multiplying? All right. And you have two standards on today, 5MBT7 and 5MDA1. All right. So we're going to be working with unit conversions and we're going to be working with decimals today. So these are your expectations. Go ahead and review them. They have not changed. I want to send shout outs. I have special shout outs today because these students have been so consistent and committed to their education. I really love how these boys and girls have been showing ownership. So shout outs to Emmett, Jonathan, Emily, Louise, and Yahira. I know you guys are going far in life, as well as some of the other ones who have not posted or have not had the opportunity to post their work yet. But special shout out to you guys. You guys pushed through and you got it done. All right. So today, like I said, we're going to be doing more than just working with decimals. You'll see as we go along. Um, a lot of the things that we taught you guys over your fifth grade year is skills that you're going to be using for the rest of your life. Um, and I want you guys to be able to take that procedural knowledge and that reasoning and apply it to real world situations. And one place where I know that you guys definitely see a lot of the things that we taught you is in budgeting. All right. And so we're going to learn about budgeting and how these skills fit into the real world. So I'm gonna give you a scenario. All right, we have a Chick-fil-A that's going to be built soon in on Summer Avenue near North Perkins, right by the school. All right, so let's say you guys get a job there. All right, say you get a job there as a cashier, and you're a part-time employee. You're an hourly employee. You make $9.25 an hour. All right. So your task for the day is to see how much income, how much money you actually make. All right. And we're going to look at the varying levels and we're going to go through those unit conversions together. All right. So knowing that you make $9.25 per hour, let's see how often do you get paid? So that's an important question. When do I get my check? Well, you get paid bi-weekly. All right. And most jobs do this. You get paid every 2 weeks. All right. So the question that you have to ask yourself now is how many days are in 2 weeks? All right. So here's our first unit conversion. All right. 1 week equals 7 days. All right. So because we have two sets of 7 days in 2 weeks, that's two times 7 days. All right. And that equals how many days? 14 days. All right. So you get paid every 14 days. Well, that leads us to another question. What days do you work? And I want you to always remember we're going to ask a series of questions, but your number one question right now is how much do you get paid bi-weekly? That's where we're going with this. We want to figure out because we know how much you get paid hourly. That's a given. But how much do you get paid bi-weekly? And it depends on you answering these questions correctly. All right. So what days do you work? Well, because you're a student, and let's make this make sense. All right. You're a student. You don't want to work every day of the week. You're not going to work 14 days. All right. Because you have to go to school in the daytime. All right. So you're not going to work all day. So you're not a full time employee. All right. So let's make this make sense. So on Sunday, we know Chick-fil-A is closed. You don't really want to work on Monday because you're getting the front load of your work and you want to be able to say, hey, I just got my homework. Let me see how much I can get done and pace it out through the week on the days that I'm not working. So let's say you choose to work Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. All right. Well, that's the first step. Well, how many days do you work between those pay periods? So if you were to look at this as if it were a tape diagram, with Monday being its own block, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so forth. All right. You could see that you'll be working 3/7 of 14 days. 3/7 of 14 days. Why is that? Well, there's 7 days total, all right, you're whole in 1 week, and you're working 3 days out of that week, all right. But you're not just working 3 days out of just that week, you're working 3 days out of the next week too, because you get paid bi-weekly. So that's every 2 weeks. So we could take a shortcut and just say, well, that's just 2 times 3, Mr. Jones, which equals 6. But I think it's important that you see how this makes sense using the strategies that we've taught you. So we're going to we see 3/7 of 14 is 3/7 times 14. All right. So the way that we do that is we divide 14 by 7, and we multiply that quotient times 3. All right. 14 divided by 7 is 2. Times 3 is going to give us 6 days per pay period. All right. So what does that tell us? All right. The big question is now what? I like this little book. It's called Now What? A Math Tale. I want you guys to get into the habit of reading over the summer. This is a great little kids book. I think that you'd enjoy it, though. I enjoy kids books sometimes myself. All right. So now what? We got all these things in front of us. 6 days per pay period. Are we done? Do we know how much we're making biweekly? No, we don't. We need to ask another question. How many hours do you work per pay period? All right. So because you're a part-time employee, and let me just go ahead and break down what a part-time employee is. A part-time employee is a person who works less than 35 hours per week. All right. So full-time is 40 hours or more. All right. But part-time is less than 35 hours per week. You work Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So let's go ahead and give you some hours. So let's just say that, okay, you get out of school around 3:30. All right. You can make it to work at 4 and be in your uniform already. You change clothes at school, and you show up and you clock in at 4 o'clock. Well, you can work from 4 and you can go home around 8. All right. Which is kind of reasonable with your schedule. All right. So let's say that you do that on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but because you want to make some extra money. Let's say on Saturdays you work 8-hour shifts instead of just 4-hour shifts. All right. So you work 4 hours on Tuesdays, 4 hours on Thursdays, plus the 8 hours that you work from 7 to 2 on Saturdays. So you work a total of 16 hours, 16 hours per week. But you get paid bi-weekly. So what do we need to do to that 16 hours? That's right. We need to multiply that 16 hours by 2. All right. And that's going to give us 32 hours per pay period. All right. So here comes the $1,000,000 question. Now what? How much do you make bi-weekly? That is the question. That's right. We're going to multiply the 32 hours that we know that we're going to work every 2 weeks, and we're going to multiply that by the $9.25 that we know that we're going to make per hour. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at this picture to the left, and I want you to choose one of these. Go ahead and pause the video if you have to, and work them out if you need to. But which one of these setups makes sense? That's right. B is correct. All right. Notice how when I did it, what did I have to do? I aligned my decimals. All right. So remember that behind 32, even though you don't see it here, every number has a decimal place behind the what's place, the ones place. So you identify your ones place, you can easily know where your decimal goes. And I have two placeholder zeros right there. And it does not change the value of that number. We learned that in the first few online lessons that we did with place value. All right. So it did not change the value of the number, but it allowed me to align it with the $9 and 25 cents that I'm going to be making per hour. Now, I could have flipped that because this is multiplication, and I could have had the 32 on the bottom and the 925 on the top, but for me, it just feels more natural having the number with the most amount of digits on the top. That's how I learned how to do it. All right. So if you notice, I have everything clean and it's lined up. I could have put my placeholder zeros right here, but I didn't see any use of that. But this is how I decided to do it. $296. All right, was the total. $296 was the total. Well, how do I know that? And why? Notice that I aligned my decimals, but I did not just bring my decimals straight down. All right, that would have gave me what, $29,600, which wouldn't make sense if you're multiplying 32 by 9, would it? So if you remember when we were talking about estimates and things, you can just ignore the things behind the decimal for right now and just look at this. Would that make sense to have a number that large? 29,600? No. But I told you guys, you can always just count the numbers or the digits behind the decimals that are represented. So I have 4 digits behind these decimals, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 digits here behind this decimal. So however many digits you have behind the decimals, when you're multiplying, that's how many you should have behind the number. But you can always just, like I said, look at the number that you're working with. Does it make sense to have a number this large, or a number larger, or a number significantly smaller? And that should help you as you're using your reasoning skills. All right, spent a little time on that, but just wanted to refresh your memory. So we're making $296 every 2 weeks. We're going to put that there. So I have another question for you. How much do you make monthly? Can you calculate how much you make monthly? Knowing that you make $296 every 2 weeks, how much do you make monthly? Well, you have to ask how many weeks are in a month. And we know that there are how many? There are 4 weeks in a month. There's another unit conversion for you, right? So how many times will you get paid per month? All right. Well, if you have 4 weeks in a month and you get paid every 2 weeks, well, you're just dividing 4 by 2, right? And it equals 2. So you're going to get paid twice $296. So that's 2 times 296. Go ahead and pause and answer that in the comments. That's right. $592. All right. So we know that you're getting paid $592 every month. How much money are you getting paid annually? That's right. We know that there are 12 months in a year. So that's 12 times 592, which give us 7,104. All right. That's how much money you'll be making every year working as a part-time employee at Chick-fil-A, as a cashier. All right. At a rate of $9.25 per hour. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about expenses. This is the fun part, right? So another name for expenses, or the definition of it, is how much money I spend. This is how much it costs for me to live. All right. And so let's talk about bills. Psych. All right. You're going to do something special. All right. And I want you to choose 1 or 2 of these. I have them numbered. You can do both if you like. But I'm asking you to do at least one. So the first one is you can interview your parent or guardian to see what the monthly expenses are in your household. All right. They don't have to be the actual numbers. You guys can come together and make some things up if you want to, or you can determine how much you contribute together. All right. I want you to determine how much you contribute together. That means that you're getting paid something every month that you can be contributing to the household. So I want you to talk to your parents about how much of your money that you're earning should you be giving to the household expenses. All right. So I want you to email that to me. All right. Do that on paper together and email that to me. Or you can go to ikea.com with your parents' permission, and you can furnish the living room, the dining room, and the bedroom of your dream home. All right. I want you to sum the total, and I want you to see what you must multiply your monthly income. This is your monthly income. What do you have to multiply this by to cover the cost of those items after you get finished summing the total? All right. So it seems like a big project, but it'll be fun, I promise. All right. So with your parents' permission and with their guidance, you can go on IKEA.com and you can put things in the shopping cart. Of course, you're not purchasing anything unless your parents want you to buy something. But that's always with their permission. All right. So I have tools for you right here to help you out. Let me see if I can get me out the way. All right. Well, I have a big head. All right. So you can look on the left and you can see that this right here would be what your monthly expenses would look like with your parents. This is just an exemplar. I don't want you to actually use this one, but this is what it would look like. Or you can use this checklist, all right, and you can go to ikea.com and start looking for these items. What do you want in your house, you know? All right. I have something else. I want to send a shout out to Mr. Matthews. All right. Mr. Matthews, I don't know if you guys knew it or not, but he was my mentor this entire school year. All right. So everything that you saw me do when I was getting better, it came from his coaching and his mentoring. Let me tell you something about a mentor. What a mentor does is they make themselves available for you and they tell you that, hey, I've already made that mistake, so you don't have to make that mistake. I want to guide you away from that and more toward this. They give you their time and their expertise to make you a better person. Everybody needs a mentor, from the president to Dr. Shaw to anybody who's working a job or even just a young student in school. Everybody needs a mentor, somebody to help them show them the way. So if you don't have a mentor, I recommend that you find a mentor, and preferably find one like Mr. Matthews. I love this guy. He's the best mentor ever. All right. Why? Because I said so. And I want to say something to you guys also. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be my best. Um, you guys are awesome. You guys have been a great bunch of students. And I am just so grateful that you entrusted me with your education. And I hope that you guys learned a lot. I can't wait to see what you guys become. I know you guys are going to be great superstars out here in the world. And just know that you always have my love. I'm at Berclair Elementary. Next year, if you guys want to come and visit the class and just catch up, all right. It's Mr. Jones. Y'all have a good one.